Australia know how to get the job done. 5-time champions have beaten the defending champions. England don't know what to do, don't know where to look, but Australia are going to be happy. It got a little closer than they expected, but England are all out yet again, and Australia have managed to pass that finish line. We are back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I have DK and Zach with me. Australia winning by 33 runs. 33 runs, DK, doesn't seem like it was close, but we did get a little interested as to where, if England can get past the finish line, but wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. It's easy to say right now, but I thought Ben Stokes played a very ordinary shot. He was a critical wicket at that stage. He'd done all the hard work and he'd taken it to a point where he knows if he's batted 5-8 overs beyond that, and it could have been a much closer game. When he got out, the onus was on Moeen Ali after which, because he had too much to do. Livingston had gotten out, and then Vokes tried hard at the end, and that's why I was saying that's 33, because they put up a decent partnership with Adil Rashid. But you have to say Australia played some really good cricket. They bowled well, they used the cutters well at the back end, they used the length of the boundaries on the sides very well by bowling a lot of short stuff at them, got a few wickets doing that, and most importantly, the fielding was top-notch. And as a team, you can see they've got the confidence, they've got the momentum, and they are just marching forward in this tournament, and they're looking like a team to beat right now, which is great news for Australian fans.
Zach, well, the defending champions have been eliminated, but they lost their way at various stages in this game, because you almost felt like this was a target which could have been chased down. The openers didn't give them the start, but then Stokes came in, he got that 87, but then, like DK said, gave his wicket away. Then again in the end, we thought, okay, maybe it can be a comeback, but then no one came and crossed that line.
Well, I think it's all about finding a way of getting 2 points. So that's what Australia managed to do. I think when you look at their batting also, they lost a couple of early wickets. Then Labuschagne and Smith stitched that partnership, somehow got to a total. You know that England have been not a confident side in this tournament. They knew they can put them under pressure, got the ideal start, again ticking that box nicely, taking those couple of wickets. There was a partnership, but England was always catching up. Trying to catch up with the game. So they were behind always in the game. Australia took advantage of that. I think, they just stuck to the processes. Zampa bowled phenomenal spell. I think, 10 overs, 21 runs, taking 3 wickets. It's a match-defining spell. And we've been seeing in this tournament, the middle overs are so crucial. The fast bowlers had set the tone for Australia's defence. But Zampa just took it to that level where England would falter, and eventually Australia will win.
If you could just have a look at the innings progression again, DK, I think it's from that 11th to the 30th over. You could see that England really slowed down. Yes, they were trying to steady the ship, but do you think that Ben Stokes and Moeen left it for too late?
No, I don't think that was the case, but there's a glaring stat there. Every phase of this game, England has lost to Australia. First, 48 to 38, second one, 53 to 44, third, 52 to 46, the fourth, 67 to 59, and the fifth, they were equal, but you can see they've, obviously by then the game is done and dusted. So you can see that England have been constantly put on the back foot by Australia. Australia, just like what Zach said, found a way, just like how winning teams with momentum do, even though after losing 2 wickets, just kept themselves in the game, and in the end, they showed that with the ball as well. And the difference between Australia and England today was Adam Zampa. He got some crucial runs with the bat, held on to a brilliant catch, and was definitely the best bowler of the day. Adil Rashid comes a close second, but Adam Zampa was definitely the better bowler. 10 overs for 21 runs is quite the spell, picked up 3 wickets. And, when somebody does that, it pretty much gives the match to you, especially if they're chasing a big total. And you can see England is a team that's lacking in confidence, lacking in belief. When they lose a wicket, they lose 2 on the bounce, and that's always a sign of a team which is not playing to, playing to their confident best.
You said the difference was Adam Zampa, and very correctly so, Zach, because again he's got a 3 for. It almost feels like he comes to the ground and today he's going to get another 3. But just the economy there, 10 overs, 21, and getting those 3 wickets, 41 dot balls. It's almost like he's really strangling the opposition, because he doesn't give anything to the opposition.
Yeah, these are phenomenal numbers, and I think that 41 dot balls is worth in gold here. And in this kind of a competition, when you know that middle phase it's so crucial. So how do you take wickets? There is one way of taking wickets where you keep building pressure, and I think five fielders in the ring also helps to a certain degree if you are a good bowler. And Zampa for sure has that quality. But wicket-taking form is something defining his campaign this year for sure. He's taken what 19 wickets now, so
Yeah.
which is a leading wicket taker. And this tournament, if you see, there are a lot of fast bowlers actually making that impact in every team. But he's that spinner along with Kuldeep who has really made an impact in this tournament with taking wickets consistently.
But it's again 5 consecutive games where he's got 3 wickets, DK, and you spoke about that catch, absolutely electrifying in the outfield. But you know, it is Zampa coming in and those dot balls we spoke about. We thought that at one point England could probably come back into the game, but he just didn't let them come into the game.
At the Combox, the curse worked as usual when he got Stokes'
Yes.
wicket. I think that was a critical wicket. He had picked up 2 wickets by then as well. But for me, why Stokes' wicket is so important, because he'd done the hard work. He was set. He was going for shots. And he's the kind of player who England have banked on for some time now, who sees the team through. And today he was not able to finish. It tells you a bit about this whole campaign for them. They've had a few starts, but they've had plenty of stops, and it's been a journey which has been riddled and muddled with mediocrity, and that's not what you're used to England seeing. And it's brilliant. I think the way Zampa has gone on to achieve what he has done is phenomenal, and I only say that because as a leg spinner, you know, if you see the difference between a Rashid and Zampa, Rashid was bowling between the speeds of 79 to 85, whereas Zampa is much quicker in nature, but still finding a way to hit that consistent length, keep picking wickets, and on top of that contribute to the bat and the field. That's like the cherry on top. But for me, the way he's bowled to this tournament, and you know, if you do remember, I said that a successful Zampa is a healthy Australian team, and it's very evident right now when he does well, which he has in the last 5 games. Australia won those 5 games, and he's a very, very important cricketer in that team, and he's showing his worth in its value in gold.
Zach, you know, we were chatting about the dew factor and Zampa coming in spite. We could see the dew factor coming in, even though he finished his overs off a little earlier. But to bowl with conditions which were there in the ground, we could see clear dew in the ground today.
Look, I mean, if you look at Zampa's style of bowling, actually, dew or no dew, his bowling doesn't get that much affected because he's someone who is always looking to attack the stumps, not looking to turn the ball in a big way. His strength has been building those dot balls, forcing the batter to play that big shot, and that's where he gets those wickets. If you look to cut the ball, which is very close, you might lose your wicket. You know, so that's the kind of approach he has to bowling. So no dew or dew, he's someone who will always be looking to stick to the processes which usually works in his favor. And looking at today's game and looking at how close things could have been, you look at 10 overs, 20 runs, and that's the game.
Well, there was the other bowlers who were also suffocating the batsmen because Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, all of them have got 2 wickets each. And we spoke about the start that Stark gave them. And then you have Hazelwood from the other end and Cummins coming in. Just everything perfect for Australia today, DK, in the bowling department.
And as usual, Stark started well. Yes, he got a touch lucky with the down the leg side dismissal of Bairstow. The ball he bowled to Joe Root, a typical left-armer, one that didn't swing back in, just kept its line. It's always tough as a right-hander to play that. But what was good from Australia's point of view, and for me, the star fast bowler is definitely Pat Cummins, because when he got David Malan's wicket, there was a partnership building there as well. And what he's done beautifully in this World Cup, he's become very effective with his slower balls. He's used the sides of this ground, which is massive in nature, and bowled a lot of short balls. But the slower balls, he's really worked on. He's getting that extra kick, and I think that maybe Zach can explain a lot better, but that's been very effective for him. He's used that consistently, even in that New Zealand game, when the game was slowly but steadily drifting towards New Zealand. He bowled a terrific over and got a wicket, and that changed the complexion of that game. And he did it today as well. He got Malan's wicket, came back in the end, got another wicket. So he's a man who was asked a few questions as a captain midway through the tournament when they had lost 2. He is pretty, he's in his embryonic stages of captaincy for Australia in white ball formats. And I think where his team is today, he'd be very proud of the efforts he's put in as a captain and the backroom staff to have brought it to a stage where they look very good leading up into the semi-final.
Zach DK is talking about the cutters he used, and Pat Cummins has spoken about also the variations that he wanted to apply in India, especially the slower ones and the cutters. I overheard you all both talking about when the dew comes in, one should refrain from bowling the cutters. Is that correct? Is
No,
that what you're trying to say?
it depends on the nature of the pitch. So if the pitch is providing that assistance where the ball is gripping a little, which today was the case, then you can definitely use it as an option. But there are days when the pitch is really flat and the ball is coming onto the bat nicely. At times you get stuck with bowling those Yorkers because the situation is demanding that. But you can go for plenty because you don't have the control with dew. The ball sometimes slips from your hand and you will not be sure of where exactly the length which you're looking to bowl. In that scenario, you can actually back yourself to bowl that back of the length, which gives you can actually look to bowl bouncer, which is never going to be bouncer because the ball is going to slip from your hand and it becomes that awkward length, which is at times very hard for batters to take advantage of. It's very situational, I think, as a group, and that's why we often speak about having that communication within the bowling unit. What are the options? What are the options a bowler should take? Similarly with batters also, in certain conditions they say, okay, these are the shots which you can back yourself to play. Same thing with bowlers, the communication in the group is so very vital all the time with all these small little things, the finer things of detailing with regard to the options and the percentage to get in your favor. What I like today from Pat Cummins, and that's the discussion which we are doing actually between Butler and Pat Cummins, not just with regard to his bowling, but with his captaincy, was the fact that he used Zampa up front. And Butler was actually delaying the use of Adil Rashid when he was looking to control the innings. So what happens is that 30 runs difference which we often speak about, which can put batters under pressure to play that big shot which commits an error, results in wicket. And that's something which we saw today because when you look at the back end of the innings, even though it was looking technically in a T20 style of game, you will say, okay, 18 deliveries left, Stoinis to bowl 2 overs. If there are set batters batting, it might get tricky. But Pat Cummins was proactive. He didn't wait for that. And he used his main resources without really thinking about what fifth bowler is going to do. He had the option of using Cameron Green as well, which he didn't go to.
Yes.
So that shows that I think they did enough. And there was enough discussion also around these things, how they're going to use their resources, how they're going to build pressure, which will eventually put pressure on this England batting, which we've been talking about, lack of confidence, maybe under pressure, going to falter. That has been the trend, and they use that trend to their advantage today.
Well, they faltered and they faltered again. DK, we spoke about this in the pre-match show. And I mean, we've discussed this so much because coming into the World Cup, it was almost like it was the strongest batting lineup because they bat at as deep as 11. But yet again, they have not managed to execute their plans. If you talk about the shots, you spoke about how disappointing Ben Stokes' shot was, or even maybe a Bairstow. It's just unfortunate to see them bat a little irresponsibly, if one can say.
You have to admit that it's not been better. I mean, it's not been good. And there was a glaring stat that was there. The way they were playing spinners in the 2019 World Cup, they averaged 80 and strike rate of 113. And in this World Cup, it's been 23, if I'm right, and their strike rate is 71 or 81. And my point here is that is a massive difference. They dominated spinners in 2019, and right now in this World Cup, they have been abysmal. And that's not the England that we are used to. If you look, they've changed the trend of playing how they play Test cricket. They've been very proactive with how they get on with things and they put pressure on the bowlers, and also tells you the confidence of the team. When you're suddenly struggling as a batting unit, no matter what you're doing, you're failing, you can think twice to play the big shots, which has never been the case for so long. And when they think twice, it's just not the England team that we are used to, and that's what's happened. Plenty of shots. If you take David Malan, got his 50 next ball, just chipped one to fine leg, and that he got out. Ben Stokes, the way he got out. Moeen Ali, it was a bit of is one of his strengths, the slog sweep, but because of the size, and it was Zampa's probably, it was coming to the end of his spell, and there were fast bowlers after that, and he's really good at hitting spinners as well. So the situational awareness of when to take on whom was also lacking a bit, and that again will boil down to, irresponsibility, the lack of confidence, and most importantly, it's been a tournament where things have just gone downhill too fast and they've not been able to recover from.
It's also, do you think leading up to the tournament in 2019, England played almost 41 ODIs, and in 2023, they've played all of 8 ODIs. Do you think it's probably leading up into a campaign? Maybe they were just tired, because they look like they've been tired in this campaign, Zach.
Well, I think more than tired, they just didn't know. They looked clueless. I think they were not ready in terms of getting the group together, maybe. And the factor of that, then you can link it to the number of games they played or spending enough time together, all those kind of things. But it gave an impression to me in the early part of the World Cup that they were overthinking things. I think they just kind of overanalyzed maybe the Indian conditions, their approach, and they were second guessing that. And once you start second guessing, things start to get out of your hand because then you don't know exactly what's the method to follow. They made few changes in the playing 11 which didn't really help. And after that, they've gone back to thinking how they've been thinking. So it eventually, when you look at it, the individuals are not stepping up has been the story of their World Cup campaign. So you can do all this planning, you can do all the preparation, you look at the top teams right now in the World Cup, and you will see batters putting their hand up. You will see top order batsmen scoring those hundreds. You look at New Zealand team, Rachin has scored three, I guess. Warner have scored two. Travis Head also have scored runs. You look at South Africa, Quinton de Kock has done the same. You look at Indian team, they've been phenomenal. So all those things need to come together. And with England, that has not happened. So individuals not really coming to the terms, maybe not having that freedom of expressing themselves. Maybe, their judgment was clouded with the chats which they were having around the conditions and how to approach it. All those kind of factors didn't really get their campaign going, and it's looking like they're going to finish in the bottom two.
Well, it's not something that England would want to see, but we have to have a look at the points table, because England at the bottom, when everyone had them in their top 4, it's not a pretty sight at all. But the big news today, yes, India and South Africa both have Qs next to their name. South Africa get that Q because of the Pakistan-New Zealand game. But the big news, DK, is Pakistan is still alive in the World Cup. And who would have imagined, because we've discussed this team which had hit rock bottom and they had nothing to look, they only looked up, and they have done very well since then.
Credit to Pakistan. I think they bowled very ordinarily. The choice at toss as well to chase, but then things panned out. I think Fakhar Zaman played an absolutely incredible innings. Just the intent that he showed, the kind of shots that he played, the way he took on the spinners, be it Santner or Glenn Phillips, was brilliant. Babar Zaman played a supporting hand, which was good, but it was a pure Fakhar Zaman show, who just showed the world how they have missed, or rather how Pakistan has missed him as a batter, because when he gets going, he's quite the player. He has actually only a couple of areas that he scores in, but he is so good in those areas. It can be hard to bowl to him, and Bangalore being the small ground, he took complete toll of it. Taking the team to 225 overs is quite the task, and it's been a good bowling effort from New Zealand in terms of how they've bowled throughout this tournament, but today they got, I think they were under the pump from ball 1. It's the Pakistan bowling that worries me a little bit, but I can tell you overall, Pakistan look like a team which is is gaining momentum, and in the near future, I'm sure they can do some special things. They just need a result to go their way, but you never know. I'm very happy to see Pakistan on the uprise right now.
Well, just that little bit of luck that Pakistan needed, Zach, because like DK is saying, Fakhar Zaman was unstoppable today, and also Babar getting runs is a big positive.
Well, I think things have just happened for them in the best possible way. And when a team is in this kind of a scenario, you just have to control what you can control. And today what they could control was the fact that somehow get over the line. So chasing 400 would have always been a difficult task. New Zealand would have always had a chance of finding a way, even though situation was looking like this, but the rain helped them. So that covers the tough bowling day which all the bowlers had, like, giving away for 400 runs and then hoping that your batters stand up, which they did, and somehow 20 runs ahead of the Duckworth Lewis, which shows that, they were pretty much in control. Yeah, whether they could have sustained it for 50 overs or not, that was something which New Zealand right now will be thinking that, we were hard done by the weather. But New Zealand have been in a tricky situation right now. Pakistan is still not, they still have to
Yes.
play a game which is going to be a tough one, because now the net run rate is something which they have to think about as well, which doesn't make things easy. But one thing for sure, from their body language, their belief right now, they're up for it. So they're going to give it all. They're going to go out there, put up a good show, and maybe try and figure out how they can better New Zealand's net run rate.
So DK, if I get it right, Pakistan now needs Sri Lanka to defeat New Zealand, and now they need to defeat England with a big margin for the net run rate. Those are the chances of Pakistan to qualify.
There's one more. If the rain gods come in, then that's the best thing to happen in the Sri Lanka versus New Zealand game. So then each team gets 1 point each. New Zealand gets to 9. All Pakistan needs to do is beat England. That would be the easiest way. Sri Lanka beats them, they're going to take that as well. So in case New Zealand beats them and beats them decently, or just beats them, it's going to be hard to catch up 0.4 in one match unless you win by a humongous margin, which against England, with their confidence even being low, is a hard ask. I think ideally they would want Sri Lanka to help them out a little bit, or the rain gods coming in, then they have a good game and they're through.
No, but another tricky situation is Afghanistan winning 2 games.
Correct. Yes.
Because they still have the chance of getting to 12 points.
Correct.
Which looks a difficult task for them, because they'll be playing Australia and the venue is Wankhede, so which is not going to help their cause. But Afghanistan is still in the hunt, and
Tough
that
games
is.
for them, Australia and South Africa, but yes.
But I mean, to me, that has been the story of this World Cup. A team like Afghanistan right now wouldn't like the fact that we are just talking about these 2 teams, and that's the beauty of World Cup.
Yes.
So that's why this World Cup, cricketing wise, have been a very successful World Cup, because you've seen a top team like England lying at the bottom of the table, and you've seen a team like Afghanistan still has a great chance of qualifying. Australia right now, you will think that it's comfortable, but also South Africa, the way they've played this tournament, have been a great story of this World Cup. So yeah, all in all, you're seeing right now maybe 3 teams hoping things go their way. Pakistan have got more to do, but Afghanistan will also be thinking right now that, okay, we got a great chance if we can topple New Zealand and Pakistan if we just win these 2 games.
That's the beauty, actually, yeah. The only team in that who they win both matches and they're definitely through is Afghanistan. They actually theoretically have the best chance right now, because they can go to 6, which none of the other 2 teams, Pakistan or New Zealand, can't go to 6. They can only go to 5 matches win, which basically means 10 points, whereas Afghanistan can go 12. And well, it'll be quite the story if they can manage to do it.
Well, Zach, DK knows this, but I am rooting for them since before the World Cup started. So I have my fingers tightly crossed, because I always want an underdog story. It's always very exciting. But just quickly, doesn't it feel like really disappointing for New Zealand, because it almost feels like everything's going wrong for them. Luck is just not going their way. The injuries, Matt Henry was bowling so well and now he's injured. The list of injuries they have, and now the rain coming in today after scoring 400 runs, then rain comes and spoils it for them.
Yeah, what would have been interesting today, and if I get an opportunity to understand that, what was the thinking, and maybe lack of resources is something which has hampered their today's game. Because their batters did the phenomenal job, like Kane Williamson coming back, scoring 95, Rachin also continuing with the kind of form which he's shown and the talent which he has. Today, maybe they didn't have enough bowlers to put in the playing 11. Your Matt Henry was flying back. Kyle Jamieson, we're not sure whether he still joined the team or no. Lockie Ferguson struggling with that injury. So they would have liked a fast bowler maybe in that attack today to give support to Trent Bolt. And if that was the case, then things would have been different for them. So it's a squad which plans very well, but maybe for Chinnaswamy, you've seen that it's not an easy ground for spinners to just come on and dominate.
Yeah, well, now it's time to do the big talks of the big game that's happening tomorrow, because India take on South Africa, 2 teams which have been playing top quality cricket. India, of course, have won 7 games on the trot. South Africa have won 6, lost 1. DK, this almost is like the dress rehearsal to the final, if we can say.
That'll be a bit much, I'll feel. But definitely, this game decides who the top spot is. More chances of India or South Africa topping. Yes, Australia win both their games decently. They also have a good chance. But you would think that at this point of time, looking at the run rates, it's between these two teams at this point of time, and it is going to be quite the match. There is one team who loves to bat first, one team who loves to chase a total on a good ground like Kolkata, Virat Kohli's birthday as well. That's going to be quite the match tomorrow.
Well, it's set up for this one big game, and Zach, all tick marks now that Shreyas got that knock in, yes, in the last game. So it almost feels like all the tick marks for India have been made in spite of Hardik being out. Everything seems to be falling in place for India this World Cup.
No, I think they've gone beyond just tick marks. They've just been growing in confidence, enjoying each other's success. It's very evident. Like you see when this team is playing out there, that energy on the field is completely different. Off the pitch also, you're seeing some nice dressing room videos on social media. It seems like a happy team, and they deserve it. You know, they've been playing phenomenal cricket, and just getting better with each game. And again, like, you know, every time I'm looking at this campaign and how India have been going on about just sticking to the processes, doing everything very thoroughly, very clinically. You go back to that first game. You know, it's just that game was so crucial, and that partnership was so crucial. And after that, it's just the belief which you develop in a group. They've been put in those tough situations as they moved along in the tournament. But I think it's just that belief from that first game just carried through, and it's just getting stronger and stronger, which is great news for the Indian team.
Well, we'll have a look at the squad, but DK, very unlikely that we'll see any changes because, well, why should you play around with something which is doing so well?
Never fix something ain't broke. So I think they'll just stick to the same 11. It's good to see Prasidh Krishna's name there. He's been a very, very talented bowler. Yes, we feel bad for Hardik Pandya, but Prasidh Krishna is an able replacement. But most importantly, I think India wouldn't make one change to that team. It'll be the same thing. I feel for Ashwin. He's someone who's obviously, bowled well in the one match that he's played, but the situation is such that he'll understand what's happening. But India have been quite unstoppable so far, so I'm expecting another gun performance from them.
Let's have a look at South Africa's squad, because South Africa, actually the only thing they want to start off doing is win the toss, because we all know how they are under pressure chasing. That's not something they'd want to do. So once they win the toss, again, Zach, any changes you feel they'll make, or they'll go ahead with the same playing 11?
You know, the battle actually tomorrow, when I'm looking at this squad, and how, forget the playing 11, because both the teams, have got the queue ahead of their name, and, they can do whatever they want right now. That's the kind of tournament both the teams have had. So experimentally, if they want to rest few players, strategically, they want to try something, they might do that. I don't think so from both sides. But the South African middle order have been very consistent. And you've been seeing that Indian team have been ticking all the boxes well, but one box, which is the middle overs. At times, you've seen teams have gotten away in the first 8 overs, 9 overs, but somehow Indian team with the ball in hand, they found a way of getting back in the game. And I think against this batting lineup, when you're looking at that middle order, you have Markram, you have Klaasen, you have Miller. These are quality players, and that's going to be the main battle, I feel, from tomorrow's game. How Indian bowlers, whether they are able to live up to the challenge, or the South African middle order, which is looking very strong, is going to counter that, or maybe make some statement. Because I think this game is going to be very important from that point of view. The psychological advantage going forward in the semi-finals is something which both the teams have a chance right now. Now, what kind of statement they want to make, which is going to carry forward, I'm curious from that point of view in tomorrow's game.
All right, so if you all have to pick your players to watch out for, DK, one from each team.
I'll go for Virat Kohli from India. It's his birthday tomorrow, so I'll be rooting for him. And from South Africa, I'm very keen to see how Kagiso Rabada bowls tomorrow.
Zach, for you?
Well, from South Africa, I'm thinking the middle order, like I mentioned. So I'm going for Klaasen. I think he's going to be key if the situation gets to that, and how Indian team bowlers bowl against them. And it's Eden, so you got to go. Now he's taken Virat Kohli, so I have to go with Rohit Sharma. It's Eden Gardens, that's his favorite ground.
Yes, it is. It's Eden Gardens. Every Indian fan would want a century from Rohit and from Virat. Why not? We should ask for what we dream in colour. But it is a birthday of Virat Kohli tomorrow, so we can expect some fireworks, early fireworks for Diwali. It's going to be one exciting game because they're the top teams clashing against each other, so we can't wait. We need to now do stuff that we have no answers to. Gentlemen, did you all think over it at all?
No, I really don't have a clue.
Zach, I think Zach had given up.
I'm not
when the
even going to
question
read the
came.
question.
All right, let's have a look at Joyda's question. What connects India's test match in Bangalore against New Zealand in 1810-1995 and India's T20 clash against Australia at Sydney on the 1st of Feb 2012? It wasn't what you thought it was at all. So even that doesn't work. DK, any guesses?
No.
Okay, there you have it. We don't have any guesses, but I had a whole lot of people tagging me on Twitter, so I know there are a lot of answers coming in. So let's see what the answer is and who's got it.
Lee Germon led.
In both cases, the opposing captains were making their debuts. Lee Germon led New Zealand in his debut test, and George Bailey captained Australia on his T20 debut.
So basically, he's picked one team from each of the matches, one from New Zealand and one from Australia.
So that's the connection.
That is the connection for today. It's a double header, so he's also gone double header.
I'm told it's Lee German's birthday today as well.
Oh wow!
So that's another connection. Well, tough one. Today was a tough one, Joyda. You're not here and you've decided to give a tough one, but let's see who the winner is today. MH Sabir 82 wins. I don't think we have seen this name before. So congratulations, Shabir. Joyda always has this connection with 82 and the number, and then he'll go back and say, you must be, your birthday must be, you must be born in 82 and all of that. But he's not here today, so we'll leave it to that. We'll give you a thumbs up. Please give Joyda's thumbs up, gentlemen, for Shabir. So you all get the thumbs up from DK and Zach. When Joyda comes, we've promised a little jig the next time, so we're going to do that as well.
For sure.
Yes. It's now time for us to, it's 10:49, so Virat Kohli's birthday is almost here.
Yeah, we've done well, but...
Yes, we've done well. We've done very well in time to get home and then see and watch the celebrations and the cake cuttings, because there's going to be a lot of celebration for Virat's birthday. We'll be here tomorrow celebrating the game and him. So catch us here at 1:30 p.m. and we'll see you there.